Hey, everybody. This is Nevin Gusak, your host of the Populist Patriot. I'm just here to make this live stream regarding some news. Most of it very good news. We're right now up to, I last checked, 547 subscribers. Keep it all up. Thank you all for listening to my shows and my interviews, and more to be expected. I'm going to be creating some live streams in a little bit regarding the leaked Supreme Court text majority opinion of Roe v. Wade. I'm going to give a very unorthodox opinion about not only Roe v. Wade, but really about the whole abortion debate that you really can't find on either side. And then I'm going to be talking about some historical tidbits, some current events regarding Russia-Ukraine trade, North Korea-Cuba relations, and other things that are going on right now. But let's get back onto the news for this program. Got 547 subscribers. Please, 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 everyone, make sure you go tell your friends, anybody who you think would be sympathetic to my message or amenable to my message and that of my co-host Herschel Miller. Make sure they sign up. Lots of great information, some good analysis on this program. We have some great guests. We had the U.S. Senate candidate. He's an independent. He's an anti-communist. He has a lot of independent views. TQ, also known as, his actual name is Tuan Nguyen. He's an anti-communist. He has some populist instincts too as well. Make sure you check out his Facebook page called Let's Be American. He was on this show. We had a great interview. We have some upcoming interviews with Tina Trent, who used to be involved with the Tea Party, with Americans for Prosperity. She was, I think, one of the field directors, if I recall correctly. We're trying to get her on. We're going to have her on possibly later this month. I'm also going to be having another independent Florida gubernatorial candidate, Dr. Fareed Kavari. He ran for office, I believe it back in 2012. I'm going to be having him on. He's another independent thinker. He's a exiled opponent of the ruling Islamic totalitarian mullahs in Tehran. So we're going to have him on. We're working on that. And hopefully we'll have Herschel Miller back on so we can do a show together sometime soon. A lot of stuff going on his end, all good stuff, of course. I was on an interview recently on a show whose host I corresponded off and on because he, amongst other things, he purchased one of my books on called The Nazi War Against Capitalism. And I came on the show because he wanted to pick my mind about my views on National Socialism and fascism, its economic radicalism, its control of business and industry and banking and whatnot. Hey, 21st Century Longest. Hey, how you doing? How you doing? Thanks for listening, and thanks for the congrats. Now, I'm not a National Socialist. I'm not a fascist. I understand why they took power. I understand why people join these movements. I understand why people join the communist movements, even though they're politically adversaries of mine. They probably would have me dead. I'm doing great. 21st Century Longest, doing great. Had a good work day. Great results at the doctor. Did some exercise. Chin-ups, the whole 9 yards. And now I'm just doing some live streams, and then I'm going to pick up my daughter later at circus. So that's how I'm doing. Life is great. And so I wanted to go on because I like to have these historical discussions. The fellow goes by the nom de guerre or nom de plume, I guess you could say, Zoltanius. His actual name is Shandon. He was involved previously in National Socialist groups. And I went on. I mean, look, I'm not going to lie about my political views, my religious heritage and whatnot. religious, ethnic background and whatnot, and just my general orientation. I'm a civic nationalist. I don't believe he is, but I went on anyways because I think I like these kind of obscure historical discussions. I've written a lot about fascism and National Socialism. In a book, Brown Dawn, I talked about the Third Reich's plans for subversion and invasion of the United States and Britain. So it's always something that's interested me since in middle school. And I like to listen to my opponents, Haas of Infrared, Caleb Maupin. I'll listen occasionally here and there to Lyndon LaRouche Organization broadcasts, Sultanius and others, Shrike and Mike, and whatnot, not because I agree with their full political program. No, I don't. But I want to get an understanding of why political radicals, why they join these movements. So Zoltanius graciously allowed me to explain my political platform, why I oppose National Socialism, but also, to be honest with you, my dissatisfaction with unadulterated political and economic laissez-faire liberalism. I mean, we just see everything that's going on around us, the unaffordability of housing, in part due to the financialization of the economy. Look what BlackRock is doing, buying up homes by the hundreds, if not thousands, driving up prices. You have all these wealthy all cash buyers and stuff like that. And you have a government of inaction. You have a government not doing anything. You have a state government in Florida. All they're concerned about is bitching about Disney, while you have people, can't afford housing. You still have underemployment, low wages, and everything else in this very great state of Florida. So something needs to be done. And this is where, honestly, I've come to believe that, yes, I still believe in a degree of liberalism, political and economic, but there needs to be at times a surgically authoritative state that really pushes back on behalf of the people. And this is going to require, over time, a new political culture, a new political mass movement that's actually going to represent the people's interests, that is going to defend the country against our enemies, foreign and domestic, without being warmongers, and at the same time solving the problems as to why extremist movements are coming on. So I am going to also invite our political opponents on air too, not because I want to platform them and say, well, I love your ideas. No, I want to get to the bottom as to why elements of fascist and communist radicals are attracted to these ideologies to begin with. And it should serve as a lesson for the quote unquote conservative anti-communists, or the one who are anti-communist, that you got to relook. If you want to prevent quote totalitarian radicalism from gaining adherence to the United States, you guys are going to have to change your thinking a little bit, because there are legitimate reasons why, and people are not going to care about history. They're going to care about their country dying, their communities dying, their families died from the opioid overdoses, medical bankruptcies, and things of that nature. So I'm going to be actually I'm really strongly considering inviting these people on. I think it's important that we have these kinds of discussions here. So I'm going to look into doing that. Some probably will not be comfortable coming on the show because I am an anti-communist. I am against National Socialism and things of that nature. But that's something I seriously want to consider working on. Now, the next piece of news. Now, I've been giving this a lot of thought. Apparently, this website Substack, more and more people are contributing essays on that particular website, and they do charge money. And one of the things I'm thinking of is writing a newsletter. And if anybody has any ideas, feel free to comment on how often I should do this newsletter. It's going to be about historical tidbits as well as news and commentary, probably occasional research papers and whatnot. I'm going to put on there. I will charge some money, but I really don't want to make it prohibitively expensive. But at the same time, These essays do take a lot of work, like the books that I've written. It takes a lot of work to write it, but at the same time, I won't want to overcharge. I'm not charging like $50, for example, for a newsletter. I want the average individual, the average Joe and Jane, to afford the newsletter. So if I charge $5 or $10, per month, that probably would be doable. If you guys have any ideas, feel free to write during the show or even in the YouTube comments after this show is posted on the Populist Patriot. So that's pretty much what's going on with upcoming news. Thank you again, 21st Century Longest, for listening. I appreciate it. And I am going to release in a few moments some videos on my stance, amongst other things, on the possible overturning of Roe v. Wade and really overall my views on abortion. Okay, thank you all. See you soon.